Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Poultry site, and today we're here with Dr. Fernando Ruiz Jimenez. He is a technical services veterinarian at Zoetis. Thanks for being with us today, Fernando.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Very good. And today, Fernando and I are in a very chilly Atlanta, Georgia at the 2026 IPPE. And today we're going to dive right into our questions. Fernando, layers are considered high-value birds in poultry production from a health management perspective. Why does that make disease prevention, particularly vaccination quality, so critical?
Yeah, you're right. Layers, it's not what we're used to in the broiler world, where you have a turnaround of 6-8 weeks. So in layers, you don't start seeing your investment give fruits until like 20 plus weeks when they start producing eggs. So you got to be very careful on that first phase on the pullets, where you want them to be as healthy and as possible, making those target weights, target uniformity, so you can have the best bang for your buck on the layer side. And that involves, in the pullet side, having an adequate vaccination. So that's your chance to protect them against any diseases that you think they will face in the field. So you got to be very careful, because on top of what you paid for the pullets, right, you're paying for the vaccine. So you might as well handle that as best as you can to get the best and the most out of the vaccine investment that you're doing.
Excellent. Very good. E. coli continues to be a challenge in layer systems, especially for floor-raised birds. What makes these birds more vulnerable, and how can E. coli infections complicate other health challenges like infectious bronchitis?
Yeah, so unfortunately, we've been seeing E. coli as probably the top issue across the board in conventional and cage-free systems. You're right, we tend to see it more often or more prevalent in cage-free. And I think that has to do with the birds being on the floor, having access to different parts of the house. It may be a little more dusty, so E. coli is a bacteria that is everywhere. So the birds being able to have access to all these different areas that in conventional systems maybe they wouldn't, that elevates the possibility of them having a higher load of E. coli that they're facing. And then anything that goes on top of that, like maybe bronchitis, maybe you have a little more stress naturally when they start laying, high ammonia, MG, E. coli will jump right on that, and then it'll start causing issues. So not only bronchitis complicates, but it can complicate any other disease that underlyingly stress the bird, so E. coli will jump right in.
Very good. Producers often assume protection once birds are vaccinated. Why is validating vaccine application quality such an important step in confirming that protection was actually achieved?
Yeah, it's very important, as I said. You're investing in your vaccine, so try to do the best you can to get the best bang for your buck, right? So for E. coli, the vaccine is a little different. It's not like your viral vaccines where, the birds get vaccinated, they will shed that vaccine virus, and eventually that virus will be in the house for a little while. With the E. coli vaccine, once you vaccinate the birds and they shed the E. coli, that E. coli won't survive in the environment for long. So the birds that were not vaccinated initially, they will not be able to see that E. coli vaccine later from the shedders. So if you miss a bird, it'll stay susceptible for the rest of their lives. That's why with the E. coli vaccine, you really need to make sure that you're getting a full dose on each bird just to try to verify and ensure that most of the flock will be protected. So there's different ways of doing that. You can just look at the crews. That's the easiest way to do it. Make sure that they're handling the vaccine right, mixing it right, and the application as well. If they're spraying, if they're doing water, whatever they're doing, just stay on top of them and try to make sure that they're doing the best they can.
Right. Because mistakes happen, right? And you got to just have somebody there to really monitor stuff, right?
100%. And sometimes you can overlook those things because they do it all the time. So
it becomes habit.
You just assume they're doing it right. And maybe with some vaccines you could get away with it, but with E. coli, first of all, because of the nature of the vaccine, but also because it's so prevalent out there, You just need to make sure that that's done right so you can get the best efficacy out of it.
Very good. How does a pullet vaccination evaluation, or PVE, help producers assess whether vaccination was successful from an immune response standpoint?
So, most people will have their internal audits. They have people going on every so often, check on the crews and whatnot, but again, it becomes a routine. People are looking at the same thing probably over and over, so it's easier for those people to start overlooking some things. So it's always, I think, good to bring a third set of eyes to maybe bring a new perspective into something that you may be maybe assuming it was normal, and it was always a mistake there that you didn't catch. So that's what we do when we go out there. We could do a very comprehensive evaluation, not only of the vaccination itself, but all the process from storage and handling and how they mix the vaccine. So we try to hit all these critical points to make sure that everything is in line to what we recommend, and then that way we can at least be more sure that the vaccine is going to do what it's supposed to do.
Very good. Last question. Vaccine crew training is paired with the PVE service. How does crew training directly impact vaccine consistency and overall protection against E. coli?
That's another component of the PVEs. You can have people go see them, make sure that they're doing things right, but sometimes they just assume the crew is like a separate entity.
Right.
And man, they're people. They want to know what they're doing wrong.
Right.
They really want to improve. But if you don't take them into consideration, and maybe you just talk with the production manager or the veterinarian, that message kind of get lost, right? Because you can be talking all the way up here, but if you don't relay your message to the people that are actually doing it, then it won't, you won't get to the point where you want to. So it's important to, look at the crew, all that stuff, but then relay your message to them, what you're seeing, communicate to them like, okay, this is what I saw, maybe you can do this better, and just explain them in very high level how to improve, why you're recommending what you're recommending, and I guarantee you 100% they will do better. So that's definitely an important component of a vaccine evaluation. Get the crew involved as well.
We all need to have those reminders, don't we? It's so important, I feel like. So thank you so much for all the information today, Fernando. It's always nice to visit with you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Happy to be here.
This is Sarah Mikesell with the Poultry site.